is it fair for us to be talking about best defenders in the history of the Premier League, ama best defenders that have ever graced the Premier League, ama we should be looking at the generations? Because we've seen that, like back then we had one of the best defenders, the likes of John Terry, and that generation we had the likes of John Terry, Sol Campbell played for Arsenal. We had the likes of Jimmy Carragher played for Liverpool. We had you could in each and every big team you could mention one of the you could mention one or two best defenders. Nowadays, I think in this generation, you will struggle to find an outstanding defender. Now, when listing best defenders or the best Premier League defenders, also best Premier League midfielders, is it fair for us to go like in the history of football, on the history of the Premier League, or we should go generation by generation? Now, maybe I should ask, do you think that it's fair for us to compare generation by generation, or do it in the history of Premier League?
I think we should compare generation to generation, because on my opinion, the kind of strikers that existed at that time and the kind of strikers that exist right now, I think they are totally very different. And then we also check the style of football that those teams played back then and now they are totally different. So on that perspective, I think the football changed. So I think we should categorize them by generation.
Like now, you should compare. You know, back then we had like if you ask who is the best defender in the Premier League, in that maybe that era where we have the likes of John Terry, Jamie Carragher, Sol Campbell, Kolo Toure. You can also make a case for Kolo Toure. In fact, he was one of the best defenders I've seen in the Premier League. Now, and also there is also this discussion about. I will come back to that later, but there was a discussion of Kevin De Bruyne being the best midfielder of all time in the Premier League, and I thought that was unfair. What do you think about? Should we do it generation to generation, or do it as the history of the Premier League?
Great question, but I think my ideal answer is not in among the above.
Yeah.
Because we should primarily look at the style of play of your team.
Yeah.
You might be a great defender maybe for the last generation, but modern needs maybe keep you out. But maybe your team doesn't require a modern high line as such. So you can't really tell. But mostly that's difficult to do because you have to check how each and every team is playing. So the closest I would go to is maybe the generation.
Yeah, generation.
Because demands for center backs, I just say center backs because fullbacks are just wingers these days. So the demands for center backs have changed, and the biggest change is how teams attack with a high line. Maybe leave sort of like 2 or 3 defenders behind. So as a modern day defender, you have to be intelligent to keep a straight defensive line, try to keep them offside. You have to win headers as well, like a traditional defender, and you also have to know how to position yourself. Because once you get caught out in a high line, you're done. You also have to have a lot of pace for a high line.
Yeah, exactly.
People like Van Dijk and Konate, they are really fast defenders that can race your strikers. When you look at the traditional days, defenders were mostly just challenging for duels. Maybe the partner would do more dirty work than the other, but it was still a requirement, unlike today.
Yeah, and I think that is how that is why we should frame this question like this, like from those old generation, that old generation, who is more suited to play in modern day football? Like who was good on the ball back then, who can also play in this modern day football, who was maybe good and handling some of the things that a modern day defender should handle. Now, do you have a list of maybe defenders that remember that were very good on the ball, good players in a high line? They were good and things that modern day defenders are doing at the moment. Do you remember any of those defenders?
Yeah. I think the Vidic Rio partnership will
I think Rio was good on the ball.
Well in modern football.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rio and Vidic were good on the ball.
Yeah.
think Rio was a bit better.
Yeah.
Was the
Rio,
playing one, you
exactly,
can say was the olden day Van Dijk, so to speak.
Which one
Mi
would you
naweza
give a shout?
sema I can say maybe John Terry Cavallo
Yeah.
ilikuwa partnership ingine fiti sana because walikuwa wako compatible because John Terry alikuwa na lack pace, he lacked pace but Cavallo had a good pace, so at least kama John Terry alifanya a little bit of mistake, at least Cavallo alikuwa na anaweza kucover. Ukiangalia in terms of aerial ability, John Terry pia alikuwa fiti, he was good also in tackles, in passes. I think modern day football ina require sana defenders kwa good passers. Na ukiangalia in terms of passing, John Terry, Cavallo, I think wana tick your box. Kujiposition pia is a very big factor. Positioning, I think they had a very good stats in terms of kulinda goal post as in hivyo. Ukiangalia in terms of physical ability, I think John Terry na tick your box, Cavallo na tick your box. In terms of height nini, because hizo ni basics za kwa defender as change hata generation to generation. Hizo ni the basics zenye walikuwa wametick your box. So ukiniuliza, I can say that Cavallo na John Terry wako better suited pia ku play in this kind of generation. So wanaweza play in this kind of generation na bado wako
older generation.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And now, I mean, as you said, like some of the defenders that we had in that generation, walikuwa wazuri on the ball, they were good, walikuwa physical, wako fiti, wanaweza cheza high line because of the pace, of course. Like you said, Rio, as you said, Rio more. I think if you ask me, Rio was more suited on modern day because he was good on the ball, pace alikuwa kwa nayo, and all those things. Now, out of your top 5 defenders of that generation and current generation, the generation I'm talking about, the generation of the likes of Sol Campbell, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, and Liverpool. Then we had Jimmy Carragher.
For the olden days, I'm not picking Liverpool. So Campbell, Toure, maybe add Terry Cavallo, and Rio. I leave Vidic out because it's a 5-man list, but he should definitely get in as a pairing.
How about you?
I think I'll go with John Terry. Number 2, I'll go with Jimmy Carragher. Number 3, I'll go with Vincent Kompany.
Oh, yeah, Vincent Kompany can also be beyond of that generation. Yeah.
Yes, I'll go with Vincent Kompany. Number 4, I'll go with Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva in the Premier League came in late, didn't.
But generally, Thiago Silva will put him on number 4. Number 5, I think I'll go with William Gallas.
William Gallas played for Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea.
Exactly. Yeah.
Both London teams. Now let's talk about current generation. Ni defenders wagani you can put top 5 wako?
Top 5, number 1 tena Van Dijk. Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Then I'll go with Diaz.
Yeah.
I'll also go with Thiago Silva na Mret. Though back then pia ni defender mwenye pia yuko generation, as in ali pass through that
I think 3 generations of
yes, exactly. So I'll go with Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
Another center back mwenye alikuwa spectacular na sasa yuko, I think I'll go with Arsenal Magalhaes because sasa hakuna ma center back.
They only had 2 years.
Excellent.
Exactly, but hakuna ma center back wengi wenye
lakini only 2 years. They've been excellent for only 2 years.
Excellent choice.
Come on, man. Yes. Can you talk about
who?
you can talk about like Toby Alderweireld and Jan Van Togel. They had a longevity and they performed very well at Spurs.
Yes, but I think ukikompare na I think I love the style of football yenye Magalhaes anacheza, as in ukiangalia in terms of leadership, in terms of mali amechangeio nini ya Arsenal, yani trajectory ya Arsenal in terms of defenders.
Yes.
Arsenal hawajakuwa na very good spectacular defenders in the past like 4 seasons compared to now. Now ndo sasa Premier League ukiangalia ndo defensive wise hao ndo wame concede very few goals. So ukiangalia hao ndo at least wamechange hiyo generational curse ya Arsenal with the center backs.
Okay,
but compared to Koscielny, they were very average. Koscielny, Vermaelen,
Koscielny was not average.
Koscielny was average.
He was in a bad team.
Ukitafuta sahi like compare the center backs wenye wako sahi yenyewe Premier League, it's very hard yani kuchoose wenye wako spectacular ama wana offer that kind of performance. Hata wafiki hata 5 ni wengi. Ndio maana it's very difficult.
It's very difficult. Now, what do you think current defenders ambao unaweza weka useme this generation of defenders, these ones are the best top 5 defenders, central defenders?
Saliba, Gabriel must not miss on that on my list ever, because as my colleague has said, we've had a lack of center backs for quite a while. I think it's been more than a decade, not just 4 years. So they came and really changed what Arsenal are known for. You know, we were known for attacking, but you're conceding a lot. But now we're topping the defensive charts. So not including the best defensive team in the Premier League, I think, would be an insult a bit. Next,
but you have to do it more. Okay.
Van Dijk. Liverpool tax, I guess, a bit overrated, but he's achieved a lot.
Yeah, he's won the Premier League, and Arsenal defenders haven't won anything.
I don't think Van Dijk engages his man as much as I would like. Yeah, the situations that don't require it, but when it does, you can see someone like a Thiago Silva or a Saliba just getting a crunching tackle in. So I can't really rate Van Dijk for doing that very often, but his ball playing top notch and heading and all the other stuff. That's 3. Yeah, Vertonghen and Alderweireld they've been a really solid partnership. I prefer Toby a bit, but Vertonghen is also top. But that's because I'm keeping a space somewhere for a Man City defenders to get in.
Ruben Diaz.
I think I should have mentioned Diaz.
Yeah, I think also he's a good defender.
Very, very good defender.
Diaz is top. I don't think he's as good as the other guys, but he's one of the best. So Diaz gets in. Walker, no, not Walker. Stones and Laporte haven't had the most consistent of times at City, unlike Diaz. So I'll just pick Diaz.
Okay. Now I want to ask questions, and who do you prefer, Ronaldo or Messi?
Let's say Ronaldo.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi. Easy choice.
Okay. Mourinho or Wenger?
Mourinho
or
Wenger.
Ancelotti or Guardiola? Ancelotti or Guardiola?
Say Guardiola.
Yes,
I'm a Chelsea fan, but you can't ignore the fact that Guardiola did and is still doing very good things at Man City.
Company or Terry? Company or Terry? Sol Campbell or Kolo Toure?
Campbell.
John Terry or Cavallo?
John Terry, obviously.
Terry always.
Yes.
Didier Drogba or Diogo Costa?
Didier Drogba.
Adebayo or Nicolas Bentner?
Come on,
Adebayo. Now I think we've done that episode of the greatest defenders. Of course, we talked about some of the things. We talked about comparing generations, and I think that is the fair way of doing it. You cannot compare defenders who never played together. It's very unfair, and we are happy about that. Join us in the next episode. We'll be talking about something else. I think we'll be talking about midfielders, and thank you so much.